back to SpoatsTalks, everyone. I'm Jace.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Barr.
Before we get started with this episode, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Airbun, Golden Receiver. He's got the best paws in the NFL.
Does he?
He does. All right, so we're going to go over our Week 13 games and our Week 13 predictions for those games. And what was the first game of last week?
It was the Bears and Lions.
That's right. All right.
Yep.
So the Bears ended up winning 24-20.
They did. And Mitch Trubisky, the Lions' defense is dog shit. And Patricia honestly should be gone just based off the season, like starting 3-0-1 and then losing 8 in a row or however.
Fuck, they should get Rivera.
And they should. That's actually good. But
Defensive-minded coach.
the Lions will make any quarterback good, even Trubisky. So
I
But
mean,
David Blau, he looked impressive.
David Blau,
I like the look of Blau. I was like, holy
he looked
shit.
Good. He was out there slinging.
He was dancing around that pocket. He's got some agility. It's like,
He
shit.
did not. But we've seen this a lot this year. You know, we got these backups coming in, doing one
That's very
game
true.
and then kind of falling off.
That's true.
But he had a swagger to him.
The year of the backup, yeah.
And I remember I just said Trubisky is going to have a good game for Trubisky, of course, and he did. He had 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception, which, you know, 1 interception, that's a good game for Trubisky.
It was a pretty ugly interception, though.
True. And
Did you see some of his throws? Like, you could still see Trubisky out there. My God, he threw it in between 2 Lions defenders, and the closest Bears player was like 10 yards away. I was like, what?
But
You have no pressure.
better. He's
It's
getting
like, Jesus. It's the Lions. It's not getting better. It's the fucking Lions. There's only one good defensive player in the Lions, and that's Darius Slay. And he did his job. So,
All right, well, he's from UNC, so, you know, I got to pull for him, so. But, I had the Bears winning that game, and, you know, that's a prediction for me, so.
I also had the Bears win that game.
And I
A
think
close
the Lions,
game.
Were they officially eliminated from playoff contention?
They might have been.
I believe they were.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they should just shut down Stafford, see what they have in Blau, and see if they have a possible backup.
Get a better draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Next game up on Thanksgiving football was the Bills and Cowboys. The Bills embarrassed the Cowboys.
I said their defense would shut them down, and they did just that.
And I agreed with that. 26-15 was the final score.
It was. And this showed that the Bills are more than, you know, just beating up on easy teams. Like the Cowboys, they're underperforming this year, but they still have a whole bunch of talent on that team. They got Van Der, they got Jalen Smith, they got Byron Jones, just to name a couple people on that defense, and Marcus Lawrence. And the fact they put up 26 points is impressive.
With that shitty offense they have, too.
Yeah.
Like, the Bills' offense is not good. It's not good.
Josh
You got Frank
Allen
Gore.
Very good.
You got Frank Gore. That's about it.
It's pretty bad when your best receiver is Cole Beasley.
He torched his former team. I am
Exactly.
glad I started him in fantasy. My goodness. He went off.
The Bills
has
held
the
Zeke
sauce.
to 71 yards, which was impressive as well.
Yeah.
It is. Zeke's greatest quality. He doesn't look as good this year as he has in years past, and his best trait is always falling forward. I think they're kind of regretting that 6-year, $90 million contract they had him this offseason because he just hasn't looked the same.
Yeah. They still haven't signed given Dak his contract yet, right?
They haven't signed Zach. They haven't signed Dak. They haven't signed Byron Jones. They haven't signed Amari Cooper yet.
And they still haven't fired Jason Garrett.
And they haven't fired Jason Garrett.
Well, now that Ron Rivera's open, maybe they'll go for him as well.
Someone's going to snatch him up immediately.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. If I was the Bengals, honestly, I'd fire this coach one and done. Hey, Rivera, you want to come play for another cat team? Except we're orange and black and not blue and black.
True.
With a shittier defense.
I think this game proved that the Bills are legit, even though I don't think they'll go that far in the playoffs. I think next year they'll be a legit contender, and the Cowboys really do need new coaching.
For certain. All right, next up, Saints and Falcons. Last game of Thanksgiving. We all predicted the Saints would win. It was not a blowout, as we said, but it was still a victory nonetheless.
The score is closer than the game actually was. The Falcons had they had 3 onside kicks in a row that they achieved.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Saints came out, shut down the Falcons, sacked Matt Ryan 9 times.
And we have to talk about that just pitiful attempt.
Matt Ryan.
He threw the interception to the lineman, and then he just got pushed. Fucking crap. He just sat there defenseless. As a Panthers fan, I enjoyed that very much.
Well, I bet you didn't enjoy the Panthers game.
Nope, we don't. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
I mean, I predicted Breeze would. I said he would get 4 touchdowns. He only got 1, but still a Saints win. So
when you're playing those Falcons, you don't really need to do much.
True. All right, and the next game was the Titans vs. Colts game. I had predicted the Colts to win that game.
As did I.
But it ended up being the Titans, 31-17. Tannehill had another great game, 2 touchdowns, 182 yards. Derrick Henry went off, 149 yards and a touchdown. The Titans just, they look like a playoff team right now.
They do. I think Tannehill's really sparked something. And that I picked the Titans over my Colts last week because, Brissett's been banged up, Marlon Mack's out. Jonathan Williams had a couple good games, but he was shut down. And I just didn't have a good feeling. Like, Tannehill's been going off, which is opening up lanes for Derrick Henry. And, the Titans won handedly.
It was not even close. It was close to the beginning, and then something just sparked with the Titans, and the Colts just fell apart.
This next game, not too happy about. The 49ers versus Ravens game. Ravens overcame my 49ers, by a field goal.
Last-second field goal, and I thought this would be an offensive shootout, but I didn't see the rain coming. But it was still an amazing game. They went back and forth. First quarter, a lot of scoring. Second quarter, punch after punch, and it was very entertaining.
The 49ers, we held Lamar to just a little over 400 or 100 yards in the air, but he also got 100 yards on the ground, which I think was a main thing that the Ravens did really well. Running.
The Ravens are unstoppable right now. Until someone figures out that attack, that no one's going to beat them.
It's not even the attack; it's just Lamar Jackson.
He's so dynamic, and no one can prepare for that.
Yeah.
And another thing that came out of this game with the Seahawks win, the 49ers are now the 5th seed in the playoffs.
As 10-2, which is just
10-2.
Crazy.
The Cowboys are the 4th seed at 6-6. The 49ers have 4 more wins. But they could be getting hosted by. They could not be a home team.
When they definitely deserve to be.
Definitely, the season they've had.
It's like you have the division, with the 49ers 10-2, Seahawks 10-2, Rams are 7-5. They're still a decent team, and then you have the Eagles, the Redskins, the Giants, and then the Cowboys. Fucking the Redskins are still competing. They still have a chance to win that division. They're 3-9.
I want to see this happen. I want to see them win the division. I know it will happen, but I want to see it.
No, fuck the Deadskins. They don't deserve any. They don't deserve it at all.
True.
As much as I hate the Cowboys and really dislike the Eagles, I take them any day as the division winner of the Deadskins from now on. Just because of how the Deadskins have treated their personnel.
Dan Snyder does not deserve playoffs.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Can't win that division. I would choose them.
Well, yeah, actually, the Giants are like the only team in the division that I've actually have respect and like for.
Yeah.
So I'd rather see them pull it off with fucking old man Manning come back to the helm.
Oh, I'm so glad he's coming back. But we'll mention that later for for next week.
All right, next game up.
It was the Jets versus Bengals game. Bengals
Classic Jets game. Andy Dalton came back, provided just a tiny bit of a spark to the Bengals to push them past the Jets, and I picked the Jets to win, but I am not surprised the Bengals win because that's just a Jets thing.
That's true. The Jets have been super inconsistent this season. They can beat the Raiders, who looked like a playoff team at the time, like 33-6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lose to the Bengals 22-6.
It's the most Jets thing ever.
It's true.
Only the Jets would do it. Watch, the Bengals won't win a game the rest of the year. It's just only the Jets.
They couldn't even score a touchdown. They just got field goals.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, it's just a classic Jets game. They just feel bad for the Bengals.
All right, and on to the next one, Browns versus Steelers. I had the Steelers winning that in a close game with their another new quarterback in Hodges.
Zach Hodges.
And they ended up winning.
He looked very good.
Very good.
He's throwing it.
Yeah, old Duck Hodges.
David Blau, he had a swagger to him. He threw into some tight windows, and he impressed me.
Better than Rudolph, for sure, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the Browns, Freddie Kitchens needs to be fired. The game plan he drew up for the Steelers and was awful. That shirt he was wearing, the Pittsburgh Started shirt, was completely uncalled for. Like, I would have fired him the day after the game just because of that shirt, even if they did win.
Yeah.
That's just completely unacceptable.
Honestly, it's just childish. It's like, what's the point in that? It's like, you're just being an asshole. Like, what the fuck? The next game, Eagles versus Dolphins. I was, somewhat surprised by this. Dolphins scoring 37 points, while the Eagles defense is nothing special, but 37 points from that Dolphins offense.
It was an Eagles second half meltdown.
True. Fitzmagic, 3 touchdowns, and then their punter threw a touchdown, which was fantastic.
To the kicker.
Yeah. First ever time.
Better hands than Brady.
That's great.
But yeah, I thought the Eagles were going to win this game, but this Dolphin team, Flores has them winning. Like, they're figuring out how to win, and I thought it would be a close game, Eagles out on top, but ended up being the Dolphins. So I'm impressed. I'm happy to see where this Dolphins team is next year.
And after the Cowboys lost to the Bills, honestly, that should have been the chance for the Eagles to take over the division. And
they should have played their asses off in this game.
Right?
They just fell apart. I don't know. I think this, for like the first time ever, I think Doug Peterson's seat's getting a little warm up there.
True.
They had all these expectations of what they're sitting here 5-7. Still somehow one game back in the division, but still.
Such a shitty division this year.
It is.
Yeah, it's really fallen off.
And then, Barr, I know you especially want to talk about the next game.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh, I like
what the actual fuck, Panthers? How? How do you let your defense give Darius Guice 9 yards a carry? What the actual fuck?
For those of you who don't know, Barr, as you might be able to tell, is a Panthers fan.
Oh my god! So what is wrong with our defense? And then Rivera gets fired the next fucking day? Oh man. Oh shit. My whole childhood is just going down the drain at this point. But seriously, how with Luke Kuechly, right? The best, no offense by Wagner, you're right behind him, but Luke is still better. The best middle linebacker in football. You have Shaq Thompson, who's performing out of his fucking mind this year. You have Kyle Love, who is overperforming. as a defensive tackle. You have Gerald McCoy, who we landed in the offseason. You have Trey Boston, Eric Reed, an elite safety. James Bradbury, who's turned into a great shutdown corner. Dante Jackson, who's a young stud. How do you let them run all over you? You think they'd stop them right at the line, but nope. They just get right into the backfield. Next thing you know, it's the safety's running them down. What the actual fuck, Panthers?
It's been like this all year. They've allowed 22 rushing touchdowns, which is most in the league. They've allowed over 5 yards a carry. Like, there's always one team that sucks against the run every year, and this year is the Panthers.
And it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Because last year, the Panthers were one of the best rush defense. Actually, for the past decade, the Panthers have been one of the best rush defenses in the league every year. They're always top 10, sometimes top 5. It depends on the year. But it's weird because the past decade have been really good rush defense, but their secondary's either been decent to pretty good or complete and total garbage. It's completely flipped this year, and I have no idea why. Like, can we not be both at the same time? I don't understand. How is our secondary doing this fantastic, right? Like, at the beginning of the year, they were fucking matching the Patriots in takeaways. And everybody was like, I was like, damn, that's a big deal considering just a year ago they were terrible. But
I think that's part of the reason that Ron Rivera lost his job because past 2 years they've started hot and ended with a losing record. They're likely going to end with a losing record this year.
Oh, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
He got to completely remodel this front seven in his image. He brought in Gerald McCoy. He drafted Brian Burns. He has Shaq Thompson,
who has performed greatly, by the way. Love Brian Burns, Spider-Man.
And it's just not working out. And I think Matt Hurney's, just as he said, like, he didn't want to deal with mediocrity, and that's what's been happening in Carolina in the past few years.
As soon as he said, "I don't want to deal with mediocrity," I'm like, there goes Rivera. He's gone. Like,
I mean, to be fair, Rivera's only had like a few winning seasons.
He was the winningest coach in Panthers history. He got us 3 division titles. We went to the playoffs like at least 5 or 6 times under him in his 9-year career. That's pretty damn good. And we went to a Super Bowl. Sure, we lost it, but we went to one. That's the big part. So overall, not bad at all. I mean, yes, the 63 losses, or I think it's 63 losses, not ideal, but when you spend 9 years, you're going to go through some rebuilds. Like, losses are going to pile up. When he took over in 2011, the team was terrible. We just came off our worst season yet with 1-15. So, but the 73 wins, though, or the 76 wins, actually, that's impressive. That's pretty good. And when you win 3 division titles, and 2 of them were like back-to-back, or maybe it was 3 in a row. I can't remember. And then winning a couple playoff games, going to some NFC championships, winning the NFC championship and going to Super Bowl, and then him just getting fired like that. Like, I would have given him the rest of the season.
Yeah, especially because
he's a legend here. He's this man is a legend in the Carolinas. I mean, I understand. I knew as soon as we lost that game, Tepper's done. Or not Tepper, Rivera's done. I knew he was going to get fired. I didn't think they'd fire him this early. That's what surprised me.
I think David Tepper wants to usher in a new era.
He is. And honestly, I think so the new wave, right, in the NFL is offensive-minded coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Kingsbury coming in. He's an offensive-minded coach. Sean McVay. After seeing what he did last year at the Rams, everybody was like, okay, we need offensive-minded coaches. Rivera is one of the last great defensive-minded coaches, and Tepper's like, you just got to go. Because, 1, I want an offensive guy. I'm tired of our offense being the bad part of the team. And 2, I mean, it does make sense that it was time for him to go as well. 9 years with one team, that's a long time.
That is a long
time. The only time you'll ever see that is Bill Belichick. That's because he's the greatest head coach of all time.
True.
And be the Steelers because the Steelers have always been a coach will stay for a very long time. It always works out for them, so that's why they do it. But the rest of the teams, you don't see them stay for like 9 years. It's not that long.
But anyways, I was watching this game, and we were up like 14-0, 14.
Yeah, we started off fantastic. I'm like, there we go.
Like,
Finally.
Allen, he found Curtis Samuel in the touchdown, and then he found DJ Moore wide open in the end. And I was like, okay, great. We're going to win this game. I checked the score a couple hours later, and I see that the Panthers recover an onside kick, and they're down. They're down like a minute left or something.
We cover that onside kick. I'm like, okay, we're gonna win this game. Yeah. Thank fucking God.
And then we don't.
And then we don't. We go 3 and out. I'm like, how the fuck? That's the first time we've ever recovered an onside kick since 1998. How the fuck did you not? You know why they lost? I can tell you why. Because Trent Green was calling the game. He was the last Redskins quarterback to win in the Panther Stadium in 1996. No, 1998. It's been fucking 21 years since the Redskins have beaten us in our stadium. It's because he was there. As soon as I was like, you sons of bitches, you called them here because you knew this was going to happen. You rat bastards. I hate every one of you.
We've talked enough about this game.
I am so upset about it.
After ice bath, and we'll be right back.
All right, and we're back. Now that Barr's done with his temper tantrum, we're on to the next game. Packers versus Giants.
Called the Packers beating the shit out of Giants. That was an easy one.
Very true. I did as well.
There's no other result this game could have been. It was going to be the Packers just.
I thought it was going to be a close game.
Stomping the Giants.
But I had Packers in a close game. But it was 31-13, so.
The Giants just don't have it this year.
No, but I mean, they're in the middle of a rebuild. Like, you can't blame them, right?
Daniel Jones is showing some flashes.
Yeah.
Saquon hasn't looked good.
No. For some reason, it's weird.
Awful.
Evan Ingram looked pretty good, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think he scored their touchdown. Maybe that was the week before. But not a lot to say about that game. Packers just kind of stomped them.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're just in two different divisions, basically. Two different leagues.
Yeah.
Packers are in one league and Giants are in another.
For sure. A good division versus a shit division.
Yep.
But this next game was really interesting. The Buccaneers versus the Jaguars.
Yeah, Nick Foles. I'm sorry, he's just not the answer. He's uninspiring.
I called it. I called Nick Foles was not going to be as good.
He can take a good team, and just as he did with the Eagles are a phenomenal team.
True.
You can take him for a sprint and win a Super Bowl. But if he's on a mediocre team like the Jaguars and you're expecting him to do an entire season, I'm sorry, he just doesn't have the talent.
No, he does not.
He didn't score a single touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That game.
I mean, you could look at the stints he did with other teams as well. Like, he was on the Rams and he was terrible there. He was decent for the Eagles when he was the starter. Mm-hmm. This is before Wentz came in and he led him to the Super Bowl. Yeah. But before, he was the franchise guy for a little while there. Then something happened. He just fell off. Then he went to the Rams, got even worse. Came back to barely even got back to Eagles. He was almost out of a job. And then he was just lucky enough to be the backup and led him there. Obviously he's got talent to lead him and then beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So you got to give the guy some credit.
Yeah.
But I knew as soon as the Jags signed him, I'm like, he's either going to be a bust or he's going to be a hit. And he was looking, unfortunately, like a bust.
And I'm glad they put in Minshew.
Oh, Minshew Mania
really
is
sparked
back.
Something.
Minshew Mania is back, baby.
The way he leads this team, it just is what the fans need. It's a small market team. It's what the fans need. It's what the players need. They need a
guy with an ego. Leader. They need a guy with a personality.
For a young rookie in Minshew, he's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
They were down 28-0 at halftime. The Bucs didn't end up scoring again in the game, and then Minshew brought it back to 28-11. So, when he was on the field, he played good.
Yeah. Which,
But-
out of a rookie QB is what you want.
Yeah.
He has potential.
He does.
He's got a lot of potential.
He had a lot of college experience, and I think that's really translating over to the NFL.
What I was confused by in that game was Jameis Winston. He didn't throw a single touchdown or a single pick. It was a very unlikely Jameis Winston game. What happened?
I know.
Also, you know what I just learned today?
Mhm.
Jameis Winston has the potential to be the only NFL player in history to not only lead the league in touchdowns, but interceptions at the same time. So he could have the most touchdowns and interceptions at the same time. That's impressive. Like,
That is
Surprised, though.
that's one,
and that
amazing,
really
at the
does-
same time, really bad.
That sums up how he plays football. He'll throw it up and see what happens.
He's like a dumb gunslinger.
True.
Yep, he's like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
But that's not
So
what he
worse.
did that game. He didn't throw a single touchdown or pick. So
Yeah, that was a weird one. I'll
Yeah.
give you that one. That's a weird one. Wasn't it Peyton Barber scored like 2 touchdowns in that game?
yeah, Peyton Barber had a good game.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and the next game was the Rams versus Cardinals.
I thought
We all
this
knew
game
this
would be
one
a
was
little
coming.
closer.
Yeah, I did too, but
I'm disappointed in this Cardinals game. The Rams are much more talented, but I thought the Cardinals, they're not winning this year.
I mean, if the Cardinals can go toe-to-toe with the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be able to at least put up a fight
True.
against the Rams. Like, my God, that's just
There was-
brutal.
They barely had a pulse.
I mean, Kyler Murray didn't throw a touchdown. He threw one pick. He had 163 yards.
Which is not good.
And then the rushing game wasn't much better. David Johnson, who knows what the coaching staff is doing with him? Don't even
Yeah,
want
Cliff Kingsbury is
That
making a
pisses me
huge
off.
We don't
mistake
talk
not using
about
him.
That pisses me off right now. Kenyon Drake isn't doing anything. So,
He had the one good game.
yeah,
hmm
against the 49ers. And so they made him their starter, and it was a mistake. They have a great talent in David Johnson, and he's wasting away on the fucking bench playing.
As soon as he has the
Fantastic.
out, he's out of there. As
Yeah.
soon as his contract's up, he's gone. He ain't
When
staying
does
in
his
Arizona.
contract end?
That's soon, because technically he's still really young. So I think he's still on his rookie deal, if I'm not mistaken, or is he signed a new one? Like, is he off his rookie? Because he was drafted like 2015. I think he might be on the last year of his deal, and he's out.
No, it doesn't end until 2021.
No, in that case, he's
So
screwed.
he was extended.
2021 is his last year.
Okay, so he was extended.
Yeah.
As soon as 2021 hits, though, he's gone. Like, he's not staying for a team that
No.
doesn't use him
I mean-
with all that talent he has.
The thing is, he won't be a free agent until he's 30 years old.
It's true. In a running back standard,
Yeah.
that's kind of old.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So,
So he might get a backup. I think this is,
he's
for as promising as his career was, I think this is the end of David Johnson.
yeah. They're wasting away at his the end of his prime because he's gonna be benched for fucking Kenyon Drake.
For some fucking reason.
Like he was doing good at the beginning of the year, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
After the injury, it just
Fuck.
I don't know why the Cardinals don't believe in it anymore.
To be honest, you know what I'd do if I was a GM, right? Let's say your team does not have a great running back. Actually, you know what? The Bills should do it because the Bills have all old running backs. They need a younger guy. I'd trade for David Johnson. You're not going to be able to give up. You're not going to give up much because he's a backup and they're not using him. So fuck it. Like, I'd trade for him.
Yeah.
David Johnson, who's not being used, I'd definitely take him over many of the running backs in the league.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Where are we now? Sorry.
I think Raiders Chiefs.
That's right. So last week we were talking about if the Raiders were a playoff team.
They are not.
Hell to the no.
They are
They
not.
are
Okay,
definitely
give them a couple years, and they will be. But right now,
Mhm.
Yeah, right now, let me.
they're a lot better than we thought they would be. But they're not ready.
1 second. I wrote down an interesting statistic that I would like to share.
Oh no.
Let me find this.
Uh oh.
I can't find it. 1 second. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, here it is. So, in the past 2 weeks, the Raiders have been outscored 74-12.
And one of those
Holy
teams
shit.
is the Jets.
One of those teams is the Jets.
So basically, they've become the Dolphins recently.
Yeah.
Like,
They're now
Dolphins.
6-6.
Like 74-12. That's
4-12.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially with the Jets. Like, I can understand the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs' offense is loaded. Like, what are you gonna fucking do? Stop them? Hell no.
True.
If you're the Raiders. But the Jets?
The
The Jets, who just lost
The Bengals.
to the Bengals.
Right? So
That
the Bengals
Jets
are better
team.
than the Raiders.
Theoretically?
Maybe. But
We didn't
I
just
just
seem
thought
head
that
ahead.
I just thought
Yeah.
that was funny. I'm like, how?
74
We were
to
talking about a playoff
12.
like last week, 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Is this team a playoff? No. Hell to the no, they're not.
No, they're
They're
not.
collapsing.
They're so inconsistent.
They're looking like a Carolina Panthers out there. They're just going to
Yeah.
collapse.
They have good games, and then they have 74-12 2 weeks.
No, they have good games, and then they get blown out 40-9.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I thought that was interesting.
Wait, what was the score between them and the Jets? Oh, the Jets blew them out 34-3.
34-3, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah, 31
it's not getting better. Sorry, Raiders fans.
Yeah.
Not this year.
No playoffs.
No playoffs for you. You thought, but no.
So. And in this next game, Chargers, we finally get to see Drew Lock, his rookie debut.
Drew Lock impressed me.
He did.
Yeah, he
won.
looked good. Looked good.
He won his game, 23-20.
He was going through his reads. He looked much more sharp than he did in college. He had that one bad interception where he kind of stared down his receiver and got jumped. But other than that,
Yeah.
And I just gotta say, Chargers, what the actual fuck is going on? This makes no sense. You guys were what, 12-4 last year, tied with the Chiefs in the division,
Yeah.
and now you're dick. Like what? What is happening? Did Rivers get hit by the age train that hard? Because he still throws pretty good. I mean, yeah, he's made a lot of bad reads.
yeah.
But what is happening?
They're 4-8, which isn't good.
No, it's not good at all. They're about to get eliminated, to be honest.
To be fair, they have lost every game, I believe, by like 8 or less.
That's true.
Every
They
game
always
they've
keep it
lost.
close.
Maybe besides like one game, I think. But I think they lost every game by 7 or less, or like 8 or less.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think they're tired of staring at a soccer stadium that's filled with other teams' fans.
True.
I think maybe they're losing on purpose to stick it to management.
Honestly, they should get out of LA.
They should not share a stadium with the Rams because no one's going to show up for their games.
True.
I was watching highlights of this game, and I was surprised. Like, I don't even think I think Drew Lock was whispering his audibles. Like, there was no crowd noise whatsoever. Like, it's honestly pathetic.
It's just Phillip Rivers and his kids.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the only Chargers fans there, too.
Yeah.
The rest of the seats, they put tarps over in a
They put-
25,000-seat arena.
They put like cardboard cutouts of like fans.
Fuck, I would. Shit. Instead of a tarp,
Yeah.
that's more embarrassing. That'd be less embarrassing than a tarp.
Yeah, honestly.
At least that would be funny. Make it look like you got some fans there. Maybe give your players some hope. I'd move to London at this. Mexico. I'd move to Mexico, same time zone. So I'd move, or not same time, but close enough. I'd move to Mexico. Go to Mexico City. Fuck it. Like,
There's this one play I remember from the game because I watched this game, and Mike Williams had this fantastic catch. I think
he usually does.
And Phillip Rivers just threw up the ball, and Mike Evans brings down this he's a big guy. He's a big got a big physicality. He just brings down this great one-handed catch, and I saw that. I was like, "There's the momentum," and I thought they were going to come back and win, but they didn't.
Instead, Brandon McManus will hit the field goal and win the game.
It was the most Chargers way to lose that because they got into field goal range off a PI call.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on. Drew Lock overthrew him, yet the corner decided to grab onto Sutton.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. And then they try to ice him. And I think he hit the post and it went in, and then he hit it again and it was middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chargers just, they're ass this year.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. But the Patriots versus Texans, that was an interesting game.
That was
an amazing game.
You know what's hilarious? The Patriots almost pulled a Super Bowl, what was it, 51 or 52?
51.
I think it was 51. They almost pulled a 51 again because the Texans were up 28-6 in the fourth quarter, and the Patriots came back. And I was like, oh my God, we're about to see it again until something happened. I think somebody fumbled, and I was like, okay, never mind, we're good.
I'm proud of my prediction on this one.
You had that one right, Jace.
The one loss that the Patriots had before was to a legit team with an exciting, energizing quarterback in the Ravens.
True.
The Texans are a good team with an exciting, energizing quarterback in Deshaun Watson.
Two young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Both from the ACC.
The Patriots, their most impressive win is against the Bills, and it was 13-10.
Yeah.
So I am not surprised they lost to the Texans, and the score is not as the way they lost. The score does not give them justice.
Yeah, because those last couple
was not
drives,
even close.
The Texans' defense just didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I watched them stand there as Brady threw the ball. I was like, "All right, fucking do something! You're still in the. If you not watch the Super Bowl, you can still lose this game, Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Come on."
What I was surprised about was what I was surprised about was the Patriots' defense just didn't do that well.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that well. They didn't get an interception. They didn't.
Gilmore did do a good job of kind of keeping Hopkins locked down, just a little bit. There were times where Gilmore won the battle, but then there's times where Hopkins annihilated him. It was back and forth all night.
The difference between the offenses in this game was the Texans had DeAndre Hopkins basically shut down by Gilmore, but they have other receiving options.
Yeah, Will Fuller and Kenny Stills stepped up.
With the Patriots, the way you defeat the Patriots offense is you double team Edelman, and that's it. They have no receivers. Their other receivers aren't.
And you keep some linebackers in the flats to keep him from throwing to James White and Rex Burkhead.
I saw in this game the Texans actually had a cornerback on James White.
Although Brady did run for his longest run this year of 12 yards.
Hey, wow.
There you go.
What's his career high?
He has ran over career high as a run or most yards because he has over 1,000 rushing yards in his 20-year
most
career.
Yards in one play.
I have no idea. He doesn't run much.
It can't be much higher than 12.
He has only over 1,000. I remember when he broke 1,000. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
He broke 1,000 rushing yards. It's I've been working my way up for this for a long time. I'm like, dude, you're so slow. He looked almost slower than Rivers. And if you see Rivers run, you know what I'm talking about because that man looks like a goddamn snail when he runs. I think I could outrun Phillip Rivers, and I am not athletic. So, yeah, he just looked like... It was just funny watching him run for 12 yards. I was like, Texas defense, come on now. You can't let Brady run for 12 yards.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I like how you paused after you said, "Yeah," and I'm not athletic, and then you had like a long pause. You know, you had to put a lot of emphasis on that.
I'm not though.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
And the Monday Night Football game, Seahawks versus Vikings.
That was a fantastic
Great
game. Although Kirk Cousins 0-8 now, never has won a Monday night game.
True.
Okay, people are gonna hop on Kirk Cousins for losing this game.
I'm not.
Look, Xavier Rhodes got burned.
He did.
The O-line looked awful. Stephon Diggs' hands were stoned, and then he got hurt. Dalvin Cook was hurt. Like, if people blame this game on Kirk Cousins,
but then they still came back.
The stats.
So
they did, yeah.
It was a great game. Like, for a second there, I was thinking Vikings might do this. Like, and then they fumbled.
I wish they did.
And then they fumbled. And that ended the game for him.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins gets a lot of hate for.
He's been pretty good. He's been really damn good this year.
This year he's been good, and let's not forget that some of those games were with the Redskins.
True.
Yeah, he was with a way shittier team.
Mm-hmm.
How long has he been with the Vikings now? Like 2 years?
This is his second year.
Second year? Okay. Well, I think that wraps up Week 13.
It does indeed.
And now we should get into our prediction. And that starts off with the Cowboys versus Bears.
Ooh,
that's a tough one to call.
Two mediocre teams that are underperforming.
I really want to go with the Bears because they have a way better defense.
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on where the Cowboys offense actually works. Or if the Bears works for that fucking matter.
I think it's going to come down more to, does Jason Garrett want to prove himself more, or does Mitch Trubisky want to prove himself more?
I mean, I just want to say from the last week game, Week 13, Mitchell Trubisky is up for the Player of the Week nomination. Let's go, my UNC boy.
But let's not forget it was against the Lions.
It was against the Lions.
It's not saying much.
Trubisky's going to be taking a serious step back this week, facing a real defense.
Well, not a real defense, but a better defense.
A better defense.
Any defense is better than the Lions.
Well, maybe not the Jets, Bengals, or Raiders.
Yeah. The Raiders, yeah, 30. But
yes. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with the Bears in this game. Got to go with my UNC guy.
I'm going to say the Cowboys are going to win after that embarrassing loss to the Bills. They need somebody to beat up on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Cowboys. They need something to prove. And Dak wants that contract, so.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very, 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 very boring game. It's going to be like 13-10.
Yeah.
But I think the Cowboys are going to pull this one off. I think.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh shit, here come the Eagles. Like, how are we only one game up on? And I just don't think the Bears would have the answer, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2's going Cowboys, 1 going Bears.
That's right. And the next game is Colts versus Buccaneers.
This is also a hard game to call. In my opinion, it all depends on the Colts defense.
Mm-hmm.
If they're good, they'll win because, Jameis Winston throw like 4 interceptions. Yeah. But if they're bad and Jameis throws like 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, he's still going to throw an interception either way. If he throws 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, then they'll lose. So it all depends on that Colts defense, but I'm going to... Go ahead, Jace. Sorry.
I think this is a very bad matchup for the Buccaneers because the Colts play small ball, they play ball control, and they keep scores low. And the Buccaneers won't be able to soften with their Swiss cheese of a defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Colts are going to outgain them in time possession by about 20 minutes, and they're going to come out on top on like a 20-16 game.
I'm going to go Colts this one too. Just because Brissett throws just as many touchdowns, as Winston does without the interceptions.
Yeah.
Or at least he has potential to.
He's very smart with football. He doesn't force things.
I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers in this game. They've won 3 of their last 4, while the Colts have only won 1 of their last 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes!
And I could see the Bucs turn it around. Their season.
I hope not.
possibly could think they could get third in their division. I think Panthers. I don't have high hopes for the Panthers right now. I could see the Panthers being last in the division.
Oh fuck! I don't want us to be.
If the Bucs, can turn.
Oh fuck! I don't want us to be. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
True.
All right.
Ooh, interesting matchup.
And now on to the Ravens-Bills game.
Interesting matchup alert.
The Bills just beat Dallas, and the Ravens just beat San Francisco.
Can the Bills' defense limit that offense?
No, I don't think they can.
No.
I think they can, but not to the point where it allows them to win. Mainly because their offense is still just bad. Yeah. So it'll be a closer game, but the Ravens will still win.
Yeah, and the Ravens' defense has been showing up. And
the Ravens' defense on fire this year.
And I don't think Josh Allen, he's still developing and he's still raw. I don't think he can. I think he's going to have a pretty bad game. I think Lamar Jackson is going to have a good game. He's going to run all over this defense because no one has been able to figure out how the fuck the Ravens are playing football.
No, they haven't. Not even Bill Belichick could.
They're not going to lose again until someone can figure it out.
If the Patriots in San Francisco couldn't get it done, then the Bills aren't going to be able to.
No.
So, Ravens
won. I kind of wouldn't be. I would be, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills pulled out a crazy upset.
I mean, the Bills, they're 9-3. They're not a bad team.
Well, they could do it. But the only question is, will they?
The Bills don't have the highest upside. I don't think they're going to get very far in the playoffs.
True.
No, definitely not. But, it's nice to see them back in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since the AFC East actually had some competition.
Very true. All right, all in agreement, Ravens.
Yep.
All right, and then next we got on is the Lions vs. Vikings game.
Vikings will win that hands down, no question.
But what about David Blau going to be playing his second game?
We've seen this a lot this year. You have a backup quarterback come in, but no one knows how they play. They have a good game, and then they kind of fall off. As much as David Blau, I rooted for him the past few years in college. I just don't think he has what it takes. He has the swagger, he has a whole bunch of experience, but I just don't think he's talented enough.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Especially not against that Vikings defense. That thing's pretty scary when it's good.
Yeah. For sure. Very true.
I don't think anyone wants to play these Vikings at home.
Yeah, we discussed that last week when we thought they were playing the Seahawks at home.
But no, Seahawks are playing.
It was the other way. It was the other way around.
Which, by the way, if they were playing the Vikings at home and they were starting to come back, that would have been a Vikings win.
Oh
yeah.
They would have had all momentum on their side. The fans have been right there with them. Yeah. It would have been over.
No one wants to play these Vikings at home.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are gonna go be 9-4 after this game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
All right, and after that game, we have the Redskins versus Packers.
Packers all the way.
Agreed. However, the Redskins have won 2 games in a row.
They have won 2 games in a row.
We don't talk about the second one.
They beat the Panthers.
No, they didn't.
When they had a really good rush game in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Packers' last game, Aaron Rodgers had a good game. He had 243 yards and 4 touchdown passes.
4 touchdowns.
The bad man was looking like the bad man.
To be fair, that was against the Giants, though.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, he's playing the Redskins now, so
yeah,
might do the same thing. He may be like, okay, Redskins, y'all need to take it down a notch. We're here to end your hopes and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
winning the NFC East.
I think as much as this probably won't happen, I want to think this is going to be a pretty boring game. I think Washington's going to stay in it. They have a bit of momentum going in. And, they have the stat, like, we're not technically eliminated yet. Like, there's always a possibility. And I think the players are going to see that, and they're going to be more motivated.
I agree.
So I still think Packers are going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I still think it's going to be a boring game, though. So
it's going to be boring.
I think it'll be a blowout. I think the Packers will teach them.
Barr just wants revenge against the Redskins.
I really do. I hope they lose out. I hate the Redskins now.
All right, and then after Barr's least favorite team versus Packers, we have the Broncos versus Texans game.
Ooh.
Texans will win that one.
Texans. I'm to go Texans.
Texans, Deshaun Watson off his 3-touchdown game against the Patriots, and Drew Lock coming off of his debut.
Mm-hmm. I want to see how Drew Lock looks because this is like the third, fourth time I said it, but you have a new quarterback come in, looks good. Next game in doesn't look as good. So I want to see how Drew Lock is looking.
It's all about consistency.
If he looks good in this game, I'm going to start, thinking maybe John Elway's finally found a tall white QB with a big arm that can play football.
Maybe. And
it's weird how he always picks the tall white QBs with big arms.
Yeah.
You think he'd learned his mistake from him, but no.
Nope.
It would definitely be an interesting game to watch, especially for Drew Lock. And the Broncos, they have a good defense. So
they do.
Let's see how Deshaun Watson can do against that.
I don't think they'll be able to slow down Deshaun Watson. He's just on a tear.
Yeah.
I think if Lamar Jackson wasn't playing at the level he is, Deshaun Watson would have more MVP conversation. He's just so exciting and really energizes his team.
Also, if he had a better O-line that, could protect him.
Yeah, because he's still like one of the highest sacked QBs in the league.
I think he is the highest sacked quarterback.
That's like 2 years in a row now.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is he holds on to the ball for too long for big plays. But that's just part of his game, and you have to accept it.
Yeah, it's not going to change that.
Mm-mm.
He probably won't change that until his later years when he kind of has to, so, he can last longer.
Yeah.
But right now, while he's still young, it does matter, obviously. You want your QB to take less hits, but he doesn't give a shit right now. He's just going to let it loose when he wants to let it loose.
Yeah.
When you got DeAndre Hopkins on your team, I don't blame the guy.
No, not at all.
All right, and our next game is for the game of the week, we have the San Francisco 49ers playing the New Orleans Saints.
Now that's a good game.
This is an amazing game.
That's a potential NFC championship right there.
49ers have just been playing 3 tough teams. They beat the Packers. They barely lost to the Ravens last week, and now they're playing the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the 49ers need to win this game to prove themselves that, hey, we still are the top dogs.
Yeah.
And stop doubting us. But now the Saints are like, we need to prove that we're the best in the league.
Yeah. I think the Saints are going to win this game because the 49ers outside the Ravens have the best rushing offense in the NFL. The Saints are amazing against the run. And they have Marshawn Lattimore. They have Marcus Williams. They have so much talent on that defense that I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be another exciting game. I think the Saints are going to come out on top.
I think the 49ers are going to snap out of this funk, and they're going to beat the Saints.
Hunter?
I definitely agree. Got to go with my... To me, last week, even with the Saints win over the Falcons, they just, they didn't look that impressive. Drew Brees with 1 touchdown. The rushing game wasn't really there. Taysom Hill had a great game, but that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
And 49ers were able to stay with, honestly, probably the best team in the NFL right now, the Ravens.
Definitely the hottest team in the NFL.
Yeah, hottest for sure.
So it would definitely be a very great game to watch. But got to go with my 49ers on that one. All right, and the next game, we have the the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns.
Browns will win this game.
There is a little bit of questionable, though. Baker may not play.
Yeah, he hurt his thumb.
With his
He
hand injury, yeah.
kind of stuck his hand, and when he was throwing the ball, his hand went straight into the face mask of some other player.
Yep.
It kind of hurt.
Completely uncalled for penalty, or completely uncalled for injury, but Freddie Kitchens.
I mean, it wasn't his fault, the injury, to be honest. Like, the guy was coming in to sack him. I think it's Bud Dupree. Plus, this face mask made out of, like, titanium.
Yeah.
They hurt. So, I mean, he just let the ball go, and his hand just went to his face mask. Like, there's nothing he could do.
Kind of
what
reminds
is Freddie
me of,
Kitchens doing calling just deep shots with, like, 15 seconds left in the quarter?
Because
he's the ball.
Because he's a terrible head coach.
Yeah.
It's true. I think the Browns should win this game. They have so much more talent.
True.
But I just don't know about Freddie Kitchens. He might get out coached by a first-year head coach in Zach Taylor with one win and Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
The Red Rifle.
I agree, though. I think the talent with the Browns is just going to be able to overcome the Bengals.
Plus, the Bengals are like, we got our one win. We're not the most embarrassing team in NFL history. That still goes to the 2008 Lions and 2016 Browns, whom they're facing. That's kind of funny. But, they're like, fuck it, we got our one win. We surprised everyone. Now we're going to lose the rest of them. So we can secure Joe Burrow. Yeah.
So.
I think this game will be closer than it should be, but I think the Browns are still going to win.
Yeah, the Browns just aren't very convincing this year with Freddie Kitchens. So
they should get rid of Freddie Kitchens, hire Ron Rivera, reunite him with their defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, you got a playoff team.
Speaking of Ron Rivera, our next game is the Panthers versus the Falcons.
Oh.
A few notable injuries for the Falcons is Julio Jones, Calvin.
Oh, he's out? I didn't even notice it.
They're not out, they're questionable.
Ah, fuck.
But the three best receivers on offense are all questionable: Austin Hooper, Calvin Ridley, and Julio Jones.
I don't know who to pick.
I'm saying the Falcons.
I'm saying the Falcons too.
I don't think the coach for the Panthers, their temporary coach right now, is just going to be able to get it done.
You know what? I'm going to say this will be one of the last wins for the Panthers here. I'm going to go Panthers. I'm going to say that defense is going to be pissed off because of Ron's firing, and they're just going to take out their anger on the Falcons.
Maybe they'll stiff arm Matt Ryan as well.
Oh, they'll do more than stiff arm Matt Ryan. Shit, they'll Steve Smith stiff arm Matt Ryan. They'll drag that man to the ground. Plus, if we don't get at least 5 sacks this week, I will be disappointed.
So it looks like Barr's going to be disappointed about it.
Yep. But yeah, I'm going Panthers.
Have had the Panthers number the past years. They've won 7 of the last 8 games against.
Which doesn't make sense because this year they're complete and total garbage, whereas we're at least mediocre. So you'd think we'd win, but no, they beat the shit out of us in our own stadium. And we cannot win. I cannot emphasize this enough. The Panthers cannot win in Atlanta. They never can. Ever since Cam Newton has come here, they have been our kryptonite in Atlanta. Our one loss when we went 15-1 was in Atlanta.
We don't need another tantrum.
We don't need another.
All right, we're good. Moving on to the next one. Dolphins and Jets.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. Dolphins and Jets.
I think this is going to be another Jets loss because of Jets.
Yeah, Dolphins are actually looking like a team.
They're learning how to win.
Yeah, they're learning how to play.
They have people in position to succeed. And I think coming next year, they're going to be a much better team. Still not a playoff team, but much better team. Respectable.
They'll be a 6-10 team next year.
Mm-hmm.
Better than what they are now, but
I mean, they could still get 6-10 this year.
That's true.
If they beat the Jets, then they're 4-9. So, but I'm
going Dolphins in this game though. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets won, but I also am expecting them to lose. So, Dolphins.
Yeah. This game's a coin flip. It's a tank bowl. In the words of your nature, we have a tank bowl in our hands. Who's gonna be shittier, really? But yeah, I think Dolphins will somehow win.
How many have they won in a row now? My goodness.
This is their first win in a row. They did
really?
They did win 2 in a row at one point.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But I think they're sneaky good. You can't sleep on these Dolphins anymore.
That's right. And our next game is the Chargers versus the Jaguars. Jaguars starting Minshew. And both of these teams are 4-8.
And on paper, one is definitely better than the other.
The Chargers should be they should be 8-4, not 4-8.
They should be.
Maybe even better than 8-4.
And
to be honest,
I think
they should be.
I think Phil Rivers is just checked out at this point. I think the Jags are going to win. They have their spark back, and Phil Rivers, I just don't think really cares anymore. As competitive as he is, he knows this team isn't going anywhere, and he just wants out of it.
Might as well get a draft pick for it.
Yeah.
I think with Minshew, if it was Foles starting, I think that the Chargers would win.
Chargers, yeah.
But with Minshew being there, he's going to bring that little bit of spark.
Yeah,
just a little bit of swag.
They're going to win. The Jags are going to win.
Something to that team, offense and defense. He's just a leader. All right, all in agreement. Jaguar.
Yep.
And then for Unreal Game of the Week possibility, Chiefs versus Patriots. Rematch of the AFC Championship.
I think Chiefs are going to win. Patriots are feeling.
I think the Patriots are going to bounce back. They're hearing everyone, I think, talking about how they're not the team this year. Bill Belichick is probably pissed. He's not the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. And I think they're going to bounce back.
I think Patriots are also going to win, mainly because that Chiefs defense is just bad.
True.
Whereas the Pats have one of the best defenses in the league.
Let's not forget, it's another exciting young quarterback.
That is true.
The Patriots have lost to 2 of them already. And as bad as the Chiefs defense is, the Patriots receivers are worse. As long as they double team Julian Edelman, they're not going to be able to move the ball.
Maybe the check downs to James White, which is Tom Brady's specialty.
That's true. But I don't think James White has he's a very good receiving back, but I don't think he can carry the team.
Very true.
I just think that defense is going to be the Pats' defense is going to be able to keep it close.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Pats will come with a sneaky win. Or their kicker will miss last second, and then they'll get a 6th kicker this year.
Oh, that's true.
Because they've gone through 5.
Mm-hmm. Granted,
Gostkowski's hurt, so he would be starting.
Mm-hmm.
But still, when you go through 5 in 1 year, something's not going right.
True.
It's like the Chargers out there. My goodness, with their kicking woes.
As good as this Patriots defense is, I'm not going to bet against Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was last year, I would say the Chiefs. But the Chiefs this year aren't as impressive. They're 8-4. They're not whatever their record was last year. So no one's really seeing them as the best team in the NFL or in the AFC as they were looked at possibly last year. And I think the Patriots will be able to get it done.
Yeah, I think Patriots go out there and get it done.
And on to the next game, we have the 6-6 Raiders versus the 7-5 Tennessee Titans.
I think the Titans are going to continue the roll. They're going to win this one.
Agreed.
I could see them.
Tannehill is looking for real.
That's right. I could see them sneaking into one of
Wild
the last wild card spots. I think they could take it over the Steelers because they both have the same record right now, but the Steelers have the playoff spot.
And Tannehill's a better quarterback than Duck Hodges.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see Titans sneaking in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They won their last 3. Could they make it 4 in a row?
Most likely, especially with the way the Raiders been playing recently.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are going to have another stinker. I think they finally figured out Gruden's kind of archaic offense.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to win again this season.
Well, they might pull off 1 or 2 victories
Maybe
the rest of the year, but
they're going to finish below 500.
Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah. All right, and next we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh, this is going to be a boring game.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals will bounce back somewhat, but I still think the Steelers are going to come out with a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, James Conner's questionable. Juju did not practice today. And they're starting Duck Hodges over Mason Rudolph again.
That's
smart, considering that Mason Rudolph 99% has a concussion from that hit.
True. And the Cardinals just did not look impressive at all against the Rams last week.
Bitch slapped.
34-7 is embarrassing. Especially in a divisional game. You know, there's that extra rivalry. So it kind of like ups the game a little bit, but it didn't for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. This game shouldn't be boring because the Cardinals, if their offense gets going, it can be really good. And they have a bad defense. And Duck Hodges has put a bit of a spark into the Steelers organization. But it just feels like a matchup for a boring game.
Yeah.
And I want to say the Steelers are going to win. Kind of a close one.
Agreed.
Maybe by like 7.
I could be at like Steelers by like 7 or like 10 around there.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. Barr, Steelers for you?
Yeah.
All right.
That'll be a close game, but Steelers are going to pull it out.
And on to our last 2 games.
Hold on. No, I gotta take a piss real quick.
All right. And we'll be back after the break. And our second to last game is the Seahawks versus Rams game, division game. Rams are 7-5. The Seahawks are 10-2. And the Seahawks. This is what surprised me about the Seahawks. I was going through their schedule of their previous game, and they have only beaten one team. Only one team they've beaten by more than 8 points.
Mm-hmm. They've played a lot of close games.
And the only team they beat by more than 8 points was the Cardinals. They played the Bengals at the beginning of the year, may I remind you, by like 2 points.
But that was before we figured out the Bengals were shit.
True.
We thought they'd win more than one game this year. Voice correct.
But I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize how close Seahawks games had been.
Yeah, I think
Seahawks
are going to win.
Maybe they just like the thrill.
Maybe.
Jared Goff, I think, is going to put up another stinker.
I'm going to say Seahawks will win this game, yeah.
I mean, Jared Goff didn't have a bad game against the Cardinals. I mean, it was the Cardinals.
Have a really bad defense, and it is the Cardinals.
True. But yeah, Seahawks for sure. But I think it will be a close game since apparently that's what the Seahawks like to do.
But I'm okay with close games. Close games are fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And then to end off this episode, we have next Monday, we have Giants versus the Eagles.
Now, I would immediately say Eagles. However, they have been ass of recently.
You're forgetting the most important part. Eli Manning is back.
Eli Manning is back.
We'll let Hunter go off for a little bit in this one.
117, 116. It's going to be his record. I'm calling it. I can't wait for him to come back. I'm going to watch that game next Monday. I don't care if I have an exam the next day. I'm watching that game Monday night.
Be like, and your mom calls in, Hunter, you studying? Nope, watching the Giants-Eagles game.
I am studying film, Mom.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Eli Manning, my God, I can't wait. This is basically his farewell game.
This is his farewell game.
And
at least of New York.
On a high note, I hope he doesn't have a career under 500 for such a great.
I think he will. I think this is going to be a stupidly close game, but Eagles are going to come out on top.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Eli's pulling one last trick out of his ass. He's going to win this game. The Giants are going to win against the Eagles.
The line of scrimmage and throw something.
Eli's going to go out there and say, if the Dolphins can beat this team, I can beat this team, and he's going to beat this team. So I'm saying one last ride, 117, 116. The legend will retire after this. Eli's going to win.
I wish his last game could be against the Patriots so he could beat Tom Brady one more time.
Sterling Shepard gets the helmet catch 2.0.
Only if Odell was still on the Giants. But now he has an even worse team.
I don't know about that one.
Not record-wise, but coach-wise.
Coaching, yes. Team overall, though, no.
Well, yeah, they definitely have more talent. But the Giants are in a rebuild phase. But Giants are winning this game. No one's going to see it coming.
Except us.
Except
us, too.
I'm sorry, Giants aren't going to win.
You're right, because Eli's going to win. He's carrying that team. He's going to
throw the ball to himself.
He's going to post he's going to be Marcus Mariota in the playoffs. He's going to
he's going to be the player of the game. He's going to be the player of the week. He's going to have such a good game. He's going to be in the MVP conversation.
He's going to throw 4,000 yards in one game.
If the Giants weren't already eliminated from the playoffs, I would say he would drag that team to the playoffs. But it's physically impossible now. So he'll try his best. He'll get close, but he won't be able to get there because it's impossible. But I'm happy to see.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Giants are going to have one last win in them, and this is going to be that win.
A great record of 117 to 16.
Like, that's both impressive and really shit.
Very true.
116 wins, impressive. 116 losses. Wow.
Very true. And to think he almost had a career as a it would have been a San Diego Charger back then.
Yep. And Philip Rivers would have been a Steeler.
Where would have Big Ben gone?
To the Giants, I guess.
That would have been weird. Eli was made for Big Blue. But anyways, that wraps up this episode of
SpoatsTalks.
That was really late, Barr. Good job.
Sorry.
Don't forget to go watch.
Don't forget to watch Airbud.
Golden receiver this time.
Yes.
Last time it was just Airbud 1.
Yeah.
Also better known as Airbud.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you all next week.